Hello, everybody. Welcome to Writers and Illustrators of the Future. We're all in Hollywood. I know it's about midnight here, so for my friends out in New York, it's 3 a.m. Go to bed after the show. Then you go to bed. For everybody else in the world, what is it? In London right now, it would be 9 a.m. So, y'all are just waking up, having your coffee. It's a good time to be listening to this show. And y'all missed out. We were just talking about coffee. You might have been able to find something good one. Go ahead and tell them who you are, where you from.
Yeah, hi, I'm Haileigh Enriquez. I'm one of the Illustrator winners here, and I'm originally from right where we're at, LA. I'm a local girl.
So we're here now. What you think? It's been a little crazy. I know, a little peaceful, but a little crazy at the same time. You've met some of the judges now, and have you learned anything?
Definitely. I think it's. Oh, are you kidding me? It's been a plethora of information, advice. Everything. I've learned more here than, dare I say, almost at school.
Well, we when I talk about this place, people ask me why should I even try? I said that 1 week it'll take about a year to repeat in school, and it's not so much even that. It's some of the advice you're not going to get in school, especially how to put your business together, how to work out particular things with money, because school can try to tell you, but these guys are doing it.
Yeah.
And they also show you what the difference is between being an indie, what it is to be with a publisher. What it is, it's what it is for any company that you're going to be sending your art to. I was just talking with somebody from I can't remember their name. It's a big publishing company. They were actually looking for illustrators because they weren't happy with the artwork that was coming with the books coming in. So they wanted to illustrate them themselves. So so they're always looking, and I noticed a lot of other companies out there looking for stuff. So right now is a good time for illustrators unless AI gets stupid on us, which when we all get back together next time, we will talk a little bit about AI. I mean, we'll probably get a little more depth into it. But I don't think, maybe in a decade it might cause y'all some problems. Maybe. It depends on, U.S. is talking about passing laws and stuff about it, so maybe it won't be a problem.
I would kind of hope so, but to be honest, I agree with Rob Pryor, what he told us today. It's I actually like it, but I like it because I use it as a tool. I use it as a tool to help me create my work, or at least get me in that, jumping off point. So I think that's where it actually does the best.
Well, some of the companies I've talked to, some of the people I know in business have talked about letting the illustrators, they're going to give them what they want, and the illustrator's going to put it together, and then the illustrator's going to give it to AI and say, okay, I need you to do this on this scale. And then you're going to be responsible for that, and then you're going to turn that to over whatever company is, gaming company, whatever it may be, you're going to turn it over to them. So some of the companies are paying attention, and they want to keep a human element involved because AI is, after all, not human, and you never know what it might do. It can get a little strange. So I think for the most part we're going to see that, but I'm one of those people who are very skeptical until I actually see it happen. So, we had the barbecue today. And the rooftop signing. Did you have fun over there?
Yes, we definitely did. It was really cool. I was lucky enough to have invited my mom, so it was really cool.
She was a sweetie pie.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, I was flirting with her mom.
Yes, he did. And, he was a real smooth talker. No, but it was really cool because I got to really show her everything, and she got to see what I'm doing. And I think the best part too was how accommodating and genuinely nice everybody is at Author Services. They, bringing her in, they let her stay for the radio show to watch it. And I think that was really awesome.
They like your parents or your loved ones coming in. They just, it's good at the galas and stuff like that. I'll be harassing parents and friends while I'm there. Well, actually, those books right there that y'all all sign, I actually usually get the parents of the guests to sign them.
That's so cute.
And then I'll come by and probably see y'all, because you're going to be busy signing books after the gala anyway. Well, I usually stop by and have them personalized, because those are personal copies. They're not going to be sold. They're going to be put into the library. And what's good about that is if you ever watch me on air, you'll notice there's stacks of books behind me. Those are all autographed copies, all of them.
That's so cool.
With the exception of my philosopher's copies. Those are different. But them books are hard to read. I've read them all, but it's hard. But anyway, so up there now, you're famous Hollywood signer. I mean, that's good. When you put out a resume, you can actually say, yes, I've done this, because people are going to ask you if you signed books. Well, yeah, I've signed a couple hundred just recently.
It's true.
And, Barnes and Nobles is weird. I noticed the last 3 years, they send them X amount, and they usually order more. but sometimes they just run out, because they only do X amount of copies. The reason they changed it this year is last year it took like 3 hours to get all the books signed. It was
I heard about that. Yeah.
There was a lot of them. And it's for y'all, you're new, so you're not exactly sure how you're doing. It takes a little while to know where your stuff's at. I noticed once everybody figures out where it's at, they go there, they flip it. After a couple of books, you usually got your thumb there.
They did that, and then at first I was doing 2 signatures for both pieces that I did, and I was the only one, but it was causing too much of a traffic jam. And they were just like, you know what, just do the one. I was like, okay. And then at that point, I got too fast for them.
You should have just told them no, because some of the judges are slow too. There's a few judges that you'll go by, there'll be books stacked up like this in front of them. Not Tom and Echo though. They like every year I've seen them. They're like, okay, we're going by. They're done. I mean, they're done. Echo's got some kind of thing down pat that she does. So I mean, y'all had her as your coordinating judge, and she's pretty much in charge of everything that goes on down there. You think she's doing an okay job?
I think she's doing amazing.
Already.
Shoot, let's pump her up a little bit more because she deserves it.
She's great. She knows.
She's great. Yeah.
She wouldn't be on my network, but I didn't love her. She knows that. And they do a great job. Laz sometimes gets to do some judging himself. So, and anybody asks, Laz is Echo's husband, and that's his pen name, we'll say. It's not his real name.
I was gonna say you got Lazarus and Echo. That's quite a combination.
I know. Well, he's Lazarus Black is what he's like from the.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So first time I said, "That is not your real name." He just looked at me like I was nuts. It's I love seeing all y'all. To be honest with y'all, got really good personalities, and it is a really good thing, because that's going to serve you well when you get out into the world doing this. Because if you're shy and bashful, one, people will take advantage of you. Two, if you're not willing to stand up for your own work, they're not going to stand up for you. But I've learned this from my own personal experience. Once you start standing up for your own stuff, people tend to stand up for you. In the early days in the radio station, we used to fight with everybody. I mean, they'd be knocked down, good fights. Now everybody's, oh, we love Joe. We love the network. And then when I switched the name of the network, they don't even know I own most. Unless I go on air and say I own it, nobody really knows. Y'all do, because it's business, it's different. But I did it for a lot of different reasons. But when people hear United Public Radio, they just, it's just a radio network, and because I can be a real, so I try not to put my name out there unless I have to. But it's fun. Now, and when y'all get big and growing up and shit, we'll invite you on the chat like 2 years from now or something.
I look forward to that.
It's a lot of fun, and Leah, who's one of our female hosts, matter of fact, she's trying to be an illustrator. I told her, don't ask me anymore. She's like, why, Joe? I said, I don't know anything. I'm not an illustrator. I mean, okay, real quick, and we'll go back talking to that. I've heard a lot from the authors and illustrators, I'm not going to lie. It's not going to help me be an illustrator. It may help me to help somebody who's an illustrator. And I was somewhere recently, I'm going to tell y'all where, and I was with a bunch of geeks, and we're all talking, which I am myself, and they're like, how do you know this author stuff? You don't even read. I said, well, I listen. I don't have to read. And he's like, Joe, you're starting to sound like you know more than I do. I said, man, I've been hanging out with these big judges.
You've learned from the best.
Well, I sat through, for the first 3 years, I sat through every class. So,
nice.
And I was doubling up and stuff. I'd run in between them, and it's just, there's a lot to absorb. And Echo and her models and stuff, and we have 10 Powers and all them. 10 Powers is what was the book again? He's responsible for the Caribbean movies.
Yes.
It was something black.
Yes.
Now I can't remember the name.
The Black Sands, I think.
No, it's something close like that. But it's anyway.
Yeah.
And then of course Scott will be here tomorrow. He's in this game. He's. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about Scott Austin Core. He wrote Ender's Game. Last time he was with them. Last time he was with John and them. People coming up talking about how they named their kid Ender and stuff. I'm not naming my kid Ender. I'm sorry. it's not going.
That's
there.
Dedicated.
That's it. And then we got the Dune series here. And
so
we have Herbert's son comes in and judges and comes in. Of course, we have Kevin J. Anderson who does it as well. And then when it comes to illustrators, Tom and Dan make serious money. I mean, I'm not going to get into how much because they both hurt me, but they do. They're not playtime. You don't buy 3,000 bulls and black Angus cows.
500 acres.
Yeah, they're like $5,000 a piece. They give you something, and just what he has there. and he's got tons of property. His family's got tons of property. I mean, they're comfortable. I'll leave it at that. It's a shame. You ought to ask him who one of his number one models are.
Ooh. Oh.
She's really pretty. I've met her a couple of times.
Oh, okay.
And she came the first year, and I think the third year, and she's a really nice woman. And but she is. I said, I was looking at something he showed me. We were live on air, actually. I said, Tom, she looks. What the hell? Why she look so familiar? He starts laughing. I'm like, who is this? My wife. I was like, she was wearing this sword and stuff and this gear. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't want to look at your wife anymore.
That's Tom's wife.
Yeah, Tom's wife.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's. And then he's fun to talk to. He's
really nice. Yeah.
Once you get a little cocktail in him, he's really honest. I mean, actually, that's the wrong way of saying it. He wants to be inspired more than honest. He wants y'all to know, look, I wouldn't be here if I didn't think you were worth it.
Yeah.
And it's important for him for whatever reason. I don't know how it start. Well, I do, but well, I can't say it on the other side. But he just wants y'all to succeed. Everybody wants y'all to succeed. That was one of the selling points for me to come here. Was when I got here, I was like, these judges really want to see these people succeed. And the first year I came, like I said, there was 24 of each. It was 48, and they still made time for everybody. I was stunned. I was like, they work the hell out them judges to get home their time. And most people don't realize that they're not really working for any money while they're here. It's a little bit different than that. I mean, it's all expenses paid and all for them.
Yeah.
And they're well taken care of like the rest of us. But they want to see you succeed. I want to see you succeed. We all do, because I want to be saying when you're on the red carpet. Oh, I know her. I know him. I'll be, yeah. Can I get an interview? Can I get an interview? Remember I interviewed you when you know.
That I look forward to. What's funny is that they invited my mom to do interviews as well, because we're on my mother's side, Salvadorian. El Salvador is such a small country.
I've been there.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. Well, because of that, they are doing a lot of press releases and such over there. Yeah. And I don't, but my mother speaks Spanish. So, and her being the full first generation, full-blooded Salvadorian, they invited her to do some press interviews for Spanish excellent. Networks. Yeah, that's really cool.
It's a good thing. I mean, and families should be involved. I have Rachel's families all the time when I get around them. So, I mean, I'm always polite, but still. And then we have actually done interviews with different parents and brothers and sisters and stuff.
That's cool.
Sometimes when I'm at the event, like at the gala, I'm always like, hey, look, maybe later on if you want to come on with your daughter or your son and hang out, if you just want to come tell us about how she was really, while I've been out on air and stuff like that. Someone will do it too.
No,
can I really talk about my son and your raising? Yeah, come on.
All of them will be more than happy.
But there's nothing wrong with it. It shows something about your character, actually. If it bothers you, it's one thing, but it shows something about your character. And I've interviewed brothers and sisters and cousins and nephews and moms and dads. Not as many dads for some reason. I don't know, but lots of moms. One was saying, well, I wasn't going to come on, but she was such a pain in the ass when she's on. She's so successful now. I just had to tell you the difference between them. And look, I didn't say nothing for an hour. I was like, wow.
Just let him ramble.
She was really bad, boy. And then she got an art, and all of a sudden became an angel and making money, and she's famous. I was like, Jesus.
When they start off telling you about the story about how we used to paint on her living room wall with our sister's lipstick, and it looked like a Picasso reproduction.
See, that gets you in trouble, yeah.
Oh, my mom made sure to tell one of those today to Joni and Tom Wood. I was like, oh, thanks, Mom.
Well, what a mom's for, but they embarrass you.
Of course.
I learned a long time ago, people say, why don't you spank your son? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do this? Or my stepkids. And I used to say, oh, no, I got the perfect way to make him behave. And I'm like, well, I just embarrassed him one time. They never do it again. Ever do it.
Oh, yeah.
My son, his first time he ever got drunk, he came home, he was drunk, I videotaped him. And every time one of his friends would come over, I'd show because he looked like an idiot. He didn't drink for almost 10 years after that. He's like, his mom, I can't believe you did that. My son's, I'm not going to speak to you. I said, don't come to my house drunk again. What are you, 16, boy? I said, that's not going to work for me. And it was great. I did it to my stepdaughters, stuff like that. Their boyfriends were bringing them in late. I was, walk up to, I said, special forces, I could kill you with my finger. I said, don't bring my daughter home late again. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was like,
I like
and then
it.
the next day they'd be screaming at me, I can't believe you did. I can't believe you embarrassed me. I said, good.
I like
it's part of the world. So
Oh, yeah.
and, they love you.
There's a
part's
good
fine.
amount of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's-
And the
it's always
intention
good.
is always the best.
And then so, any favorites?
Favorite judges?
Yeah, any favorite judges? Any favorite author service people? I got some favorites, but I can't say I'll get in trouble.
I definitely can't say favorites. I do agree with Trimony that today was definitely the most exciting at Rob Pryor Studio.
So wait, tell them. So I didn't even ask you, so tell them what you were doing.
Yeah, so we went to Rob Pryor Studio. And if you know Rob Pryor, obviously, he is a showman, to say the very least. And to see him in his element is just surreal. And so he gave us a demonstration after giving us a ton of great advice. Definitely something more like pumping you up.
Yeah.
And that's how he was really good at that. And so when we got into the studio, he actually gave us a demonstration of live painting. And the best part, he invited each and every one of us to come up there and paint with him. And that was just
that's gotta be good, man.
that was cool.
I
And it's
looked
on
like a
video.
deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
I can
I was the
understand
first
that.
one
Right.
he handed. So he was up there doing
He
his
surprised
thing,
you. Yes, he did.
and I don't know, maybe I was standing the closest, but he
Kind of,
turned and held the brush out to me. He's like, "Come on over here," and I was like, took over there, and I started painting, right? And I think he was teasing me because he leaned over to me and he's like, don't paint outside the lines."
Yeah.
While he was
For
dancing,
sure. While he was dancing, splashing paint, the head done. It was great.
Yeah, that would be great to see that.
It was great. No, it was really awesome. I think that was definitely the best part of this.
I'd like to have seen that to tell Don next time.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
they video recorded it.
Oh, good.
We
Oh,
took many
okay.
videos. I was happy. We got really good
post
videos.
those on wherever, all the social media.
Oh yeah,
That's
definitely. worth it.
actually one of my social media people called me a little while ago. Joe, you said we had 44 pages. I said, yeah. No, he said we had 52. He said, stop making pages. I'm like, Dad, I don't remember making any pages. He said, yeah. And that's just mine. We're not talking about the 40 hosts I have. They all have social media pages together. There's a bunch of them. So it helps though. For people like y'all, it helps because that means you're going to go out on at least 200 or 300 social media pages.
Yeah.
Some of them are small, some of them are big. Some might have 500, some might have 55,000. The United Public page runs around 105,000, somewhere around there. We don't put you on a UFO undercover page, but it does around 55,000. We do put you on a news on flip side page, which is about the same. Well, we used to, and it's not because y'all we quit. I used to get these really nasty letters from people. This is not about UFOs. They would come on my show and start screaming at me, say, "Excuse me, you're banned." Bloop. I'm like, bloop. I didn't. Sometimes I wouldn't even let finish. I'm like, bloop. You're banned. You're banned. Get out of here. I mean, I understood the point of view. I mean, it's a 25-year-old show, and it is geared for a specific topic. But
we can sketch some UFOs for
Yeah.
you.
well, I don't know if y'all know who Jeff Weiner is, but you know who Ted McFree is, right? He's his roommate, and he's one of the winners from here. And he's the first one that really introduced me to AI, by the way.
Nice.
He called me out of the blue. I mean, him and I've been talking. I know his daughters and the Weiner sisters. And he calls me. He said, "Joe, you heard about this?" I said, "Not really. I haven't been paying much attention. Can I come on the show?" I said, "Sure, I'll book you on the show." He gets on. He starts telling me about it. I'm not kidding y'all. As soon as we got off the air, I went, "John Goodwin." I said, I don't even say how I said it. I'm like, "John, we're going to fix this, right?" John said, "What are you talking about?" I said, I got in the whole spew with him. He called Jeff, and within 2 days, they had new rules for the contest. Because he made my banner for UFO Undercover in like 6 seconds.
Oh.
And it's a beautiful banner. 6 seconds. That particular banner would have probably cost me at least $1,000. So I was kind of like, oh, no, we can't have this. And I wasn't so much worried about people cheating as long-term side effects of what was going on.
Yeah.
And there would be, and there have been a couple of people who have submitted, AI.
Oh.
But they got to show the progression of work. So y'all know, y'all been there. So.
Well, I don't know what it was like in prior years, but this year, what they had us do is do the thumbnails, submit the thumbnails,
Yes.
and then submit. It was like 4 or 5
stages.
different stages where
Yeah.
we showed what we were doing.
Rough sketch, clean
Yeah.
sketch.
That way they know it's your work and not something else's work, which I'm glad they do it like that. But it also shows, because you know that's all stuff you can use. That's another more stuff you can put in your portfolio. You know,
Yes.
It's just stuff. The more you accumulate, the easier it is going to get to work. And then of course, being a winner at Writer's Future does help, and it does open doors. I was surprised myself on how many doors it opened. Oh, it does. And I would say, this is only ones I can speak for the ones I've met personally. We'll just talk about just the illustrators, which is what 24, 48, about 70 of them. So out of that 70, I would say about 56, 57 are already doing pretty decent. And some of them came in right at the tail end of COVID. You know, all of us know how COVID was. So. And they're making money. So I'm kind of like, okay, this is good to see. And it also seems to be, it's like that when the writers have to do a 24-hour story, they tell me 70% of them make money.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones they throw down the stairs and they do them, and then they get bought. I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, because I watch these people write these things. You know, sometimes I'll even sit next to them, like, are you okay? Yeah, I'm so you sure you're about to pass out or something? And because Tim had me go one year. He calls me and he goes, Joe, where are you? I said, I'm in the hotel. He said, go up to the mezzanine. I want you to watch all the authors doing their 24. So he had me zooming in on people's faces. They're like, I mean, some of them I couldn't even put up. I mean, they were just so horrible. I mean, I didn't want the people to look like that. I mean, it was like something out of a weird movie. I was like, come on, guys. And then some of them just went out there. It was done. Good story, over and done with.
Yeah.
Some of them tear it up, starts that. I watched them. One of the girls was doing a piece of art. If she didn't tear this thing up 30 times, she didn't even touch it. She'd start. And to me, it looked good. Okay. But like I said, I'm not an artist. Yeah. I'm like, what's wrong with it? I'm like, there was something else they were doing that year, where they had them. I think Echo told me it was like the 24-hour version of the art or whatever it was. So I wanted to ask you too, how did y'all like working with the live models? You liked it?
Those are super cool. They were very proficient, but they're very dynamic.
Yes. So
the poses that they're able to do, and then to keep it for so long, they were great. And I think I haven't done that in a while since college. It was great practice.
It's fun. Of course, I'm just watching because I don't know what's going on, but that's why I watched Echo that day. It was so fun watching Echo doing the poses.
Yeah.
When she see me with the camera, if she wouldn't have had a foot book, I'd have been in trouble. I was like, Echo. And she looked at, I will kill you. I said, you can't catch me, Crip. I'm out of here. But her and I being pretty good friends, and it's strange. So we got tomorrow. Is it one? Just how many judges are tomorrow? I didn't look yet.
That's a good question. How many?
Well, tomorrow's the portfolio review. So
okay.
I think almost all of the judges are going to be there tomorrow for that. Yeah. But as far as the presentations, each day it's been 2 to 3 so far. But I know that more of them are going to be there for the portfolio review too.
Yes.
Rob
Pryor will be there. Yeah.
He was saying something the other day to me about the portfolio review. I was like, well, and I was like, oh, and then I realized I was like, oh, Joe, you know what a portfolio is, you dumbass. It's see my brain. I get up here after about 5th day, 6th day, my brain's like, are we going home yet? But then once the gala's over, I'm like, all the rest of y'all, I start relaxing.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna have a party somewhere.
That'd be cool.
I've done it once. Tom's done it once. Echo's done it once. A couple times. Everybody just got together on the mezzanine and just pulled out the chairs, got on the carpet. There was booze all over, food all over, pizzas all over.
Yeah, there's a pool right down there.
So,
I'm sure someone
really it is a good thing to relax. It's because you just,
Yeah.
You've been holding yourself and then of course at the gala, you're definitely holding yourself because you don't want to make a mistake.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I tell everybody, don't think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it more than likely you're going to mess up, so don't think about it. Just let it go in the back of your head. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked to me live and in front of millions of people. You're only going to be talking to a couple hundred people there. So, some are rich and famous. It doesn't matter. So some of our listeners are rich and famous.
Yeah.
I think, once you've talked to a couple million people, a couple hundred should be easy.
I was always told, act like you belong there.
You do. And if you do get nervous, because when I first got on lecture tour, I get nervous every once. Find people to focus on.
Okay.
So what's happening is you're still speaking, but your brain's actually focused on an individual you're looking at. So you're not really thinking about anything else but what you're saying.
That's good.
And it makes it way easier. It's actually a very famous person taught me that. And, He told me if I ever said his name, he'd kill me. Oh no, he did me a favor. I was at a lecture and I was babbling, bumbling, following my words. It was a really good lecture, and I just couldn't seem to concentrate because I was watching the audience. And he came and got me. He said, "We're going to take a break. I want to talk to each other." He got me off stage. He told me what to do. And I went back and did it, and the rest of it was excellent. I've used it ever since. Even today, when I'm giving, when I'm in New York, the lecture I'll be giving in front of about 8,000 people, and it's a political lecture, so it's a mixed crowd.
Interesting.
Oh yes, I'll probably end up dead, but still, it's but it's what it is. So, and that's other things too. There's other things, as you progress, you can always teach art.
This is true.
So that's always an option as well. And so I think you got lots of. I think this group's going to do a little faster than some of the other groups because you're all very outgoing. You seem to be comfortable with me and the rest of the crowd. And
you make it easy.
But it's important because when you're talking, there's always going to be a what out there somewhere along the line. Let's just be honest. And I'll tell you this too: if you ever run into media that's nasty to you, you pick up the phone and you call me, and I'll show you how you deal with nasty media. On the last day, I do a lecture, and a little short one about how to deal with nasty media. But if they really upset you, you call me. I'll show what upset means.
Thank you.
Charlemagne, he's a little crybaby, so. And I still remember his age. He goes, "You made him cry." I said, "The guy's like 6'6", 300 pounds, and he's crying." I said, "Because I called him an idiot." I said, "Come on." I said, "You need to get out of radio." And then it was so funny because his audience was trying to take up for him. And then the more in depth I got, the more his audience sided with me. I think that's what turned him over. He's like, "You're stealing my audience." I said, "No, I think they just like me." I said, "Here's my web. This is where I'm at. Come find me."
It's the accent.
Well, what's funny about that? You know how when Brits and Aussies talk in the United States, it does well. When I'm overseas, I do well over there. The Aussies love me to death. The Brits love me too. So
nice.
I didn't find that out until I got on Pioneer Radio. And I was early morning, like coast to coast over there. And people would call me, write me, send me food, send me other stuff which I'm going to mention. I've had Canadians send me like 10-pound boxes of candy.
That's
I'm like,
cool.
"Well, thank you for making me fatter." But that kind of stuff happens when you do this, and you're going to pick up fans like that, as you go along.
Awesome.
I'm surprised how many of these artists actually already have a fan base. And then there's, of course, social media.
Yeah.
And I have seen people doing what to call it. They're basically they're putting like the thumbnails up, but they're converting them into full-size pictures. Some of them they sell from off a download, and some of them they actually put on a piece of canvas or something like that and put a frame on it. And you know as well as I do, once you put a frame on it, it's going up quite a bit. Frames are not even cheap frames aren't cheap frames.
Yeah, no, that's true.
It's so that always helps. So I'm gonna let y'all get out of here because I'm sure they're down there doing whatever they're doing because I'm going down there to go harass somebody. I hope your breast thing goes fabulous for all of y'all. I can't wait to see y'all decked to the hilt up on the stage and stuff. I told them I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh God, Joni would kill you.
No, not Joni. Emily goes, "I love you, Joe, but I can't hide you in the back and nobody will ever find you."
I got shorts and a t-shirt feet though.
Yeah.
I've got to super glue my shoe back together.
No, that's fine. Well, actually, if you get the right kind of super glue, it'll work pretty good.
That's actually
Did I tell you what? Did I tell you what happened with it?
No.
Well, okay. I've got big monster feet, right? So I go to a truly ridiculous number of shoe stores looking for something I can wear for shoes to the gala.
Oh yeah.
And I go to the last one, and they don't have anything either. And I ask the lady, I'm like, "Do you know anywhere that might have some shoes that'll work for me?" And she goes, "Well, honey, don't take this the wrong way, but there is a drag queen store right down the road."
I'd say, "Well, thank you."
Yes, I heard that.
And I looked at her for a second, and I was like, "Okay." So I go, and I was expecting something a little with a bit more pizzazz than I'd be comfortable with, maybe a little bit more sparkly, Yeah. I go in there, and there's this beautiful pair of elegant black shoes, and I'm like, "All right." So I get them, I wear them. It was when we were walking down to the burger place for lunch, and I feel the slipper start to, and I'm like, "Oh no, I can't go shoe shopping down here. It'll take the whole rest of the week to find another pair."
It gets, yeah, well, yeah. We see New Orleans is full of drag queens, but half time you can't tell. in fact, they have their own
That's
club.
dangerous.
Well, no, they have 3 transvestite clubs right across from all the strip joints,
Oh.
and you'll see them out there standing. The first time I was walking, I said, "It's a guy, son of a bitch." Man. I said, "It looks better than the girl across the street." And my friends going, "Joe," I said, "No, man, it's not like that. I'm just saying, she looks really good." Big guy.
They paid good money.
and see, it's hard with them because they'll mess with you. They'll be like, "Well, guy, girl, whatever."
Yeah.
You know, they don't really care. It's just don't walk in the club if you're a guy. Is all I'm telling you. They're gonna see things that you don't want to see. Let's just leave it at that.
Sounds like you've learned from experience.
It's not that I don't know how Oh, wow, actually, real quick story. Well, let me turn this off. They don't need to hear this story, people. Y'all evil. We're gonna let y'all out here. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember, you can get these live now. They're already posted. See, that's the good thing about this. Whoa, thought I broke something there for a minute. Am I in the wrong one or something?